Okay, welcome to the next video in the AI for non-technical CxOs course. And in this video, we're going to get hands-on and start playing around with Claude as a large language model. And we're going to start using some of our own company documentation and strategy to help inform and create a very personalized experience. So before we start off, what is Claude? You might have come to this course having heard about ChatGPT, and it's one of those things. It's a bit like search became synonymous with Google, or Hoover back in the days became synonymous with vacuuming. ChatGPT has been that phrase that has come to define the whole market. But ChatGPT in itself is a product of a company called OpenAI. And today we're going to be playing around with a tool called Claude, which is a product of a company called Anthropic. So you've got two leading companies here, Anthropic and OpenAI, and they have their products, these large language models, one called Claude and one called ChatGPT. Now, the reason why we're going to be using Claude will become apparent as we go through this. Personally, it's the tool that I use on a daily basis because just the responses that I'm getting and the way that it writes, I find a bit superior to the way that ChatGPT writes. But also we're going to be using a tool called Project, which is going to enable you to use some of the content from your own company in those searches. So first off, I'm going to walk you through how to set up your account, and I'm going to do that with a series of screenshots because I've already done this. What you can do is maybe have this on one of your screens while you set it up, or you can pause and come back as you go through. But the first thing that you're going to do is either go to anthropic.com and then you'll find a link to Claude there, or you can go direct to claude.ai and there'll be a sign up on that as well. So having gone to one of those pages, you're then going to be able to create your account. If you use Google within your company as your Gmail and Docs provider, then you might click continue with Google. If not, just type in an email address here and click continue with email. Then you're going to be asked to verify your phone number and your age. So select the right flag and then put in your phone number, click to accept the terms and conditions. I'm going to come on to those terms and conditions in a minute. So you might want to read it, but I'll also highlight a couple of those issues right now. And then now you're going to create your account. You're going to receive a text message to the number that you provided there. And so enter that verification code. And that's going to be the final step of creating your account. Now you're going to be asked to make a choice. Do you want to use this just for your own personal use, or is this more of a corporate account? For now, just choose personal use. This is just you testing it out. We're not looking to set up a team name and all of that right yet. Now you're going to put in some of your details. It'll ask you your full name, and then it will show a little box underneath that saying, and what should we call you? So you can fill that in. And now is about setting up your account. So what you'll have been set up with now is a free plan, and you can start to play around with Claude, no problem at all. The reason why we're going to upgrade is because it's going to give you access to some of the newer models, but it's also going to give you access to the project's functionality that we want. So if you click that upgrade, and it's going to give you a couple of options. We want the Pro option, which is £18 in the UK and a similar amount in dollars for the US or any other country. And you want to subscribe to Pro. And what you can see here is that it's going to give you faster usage. It's going to give you access to the newer models. But importantly, you're going to be able to create projects to work with Claude around a set of documents, code, or files. And this is really what we want to see as we go through this exercise, is how can you make a tool like Claude work around your context and environment rather than just being like a Google search. So subscribe to Pro, fill in your card details. Now, I mentioned about the terms and conditions here. Now, it's up to you, as always, to go and read through any terms and conditions and make sure that you're comfortable with it. But one of the main questions that I'm sure you'll have as we go through this exercise is, well, hang on, if I'm going to be adding in something that is specific to our company, is this going to be used to train the model? Would I want to be engaging with discussion with a tool like this around our company strategy? Well, it gets to a section about the materials, and the materials are the things that you upload or you write as part of a prompt. And here it's very clear, we will not train our models on any materials that are not publicly available, except in two circumstances. One, if you were to provide feedback to them, and so there's a button there, we can provide feedback on some responses. And then the second one would be if there is a trust and safety issue. But for everything that you're using it for, that we're going to go through here, it is not training their models on your intellectual property. But for more detail on that, go to the consumer terms on that link there. So hopefully, as you've gone through that little exercise, you have set up your Claude account, you have upgraded to the Pro plan, and you are comfortable that what we're about to add into this is not going to impact your intellectual property. Now we're going to move on to creating your first project. And as you now go into your Claude interface, and if you've done that upgrade to the Pro plan, you'll now see on the top left a new widget which says Projects. And if you click on Projects, then you're going to see on the top right of your screen, Create a Project. And you want to click that. And here's where we're going to start creating your personal project. You're going to be able to put in what are you working on and a bit of a description about what you're trying to achieve. So to do that, let me just come out, and I have shared a folder with you that is going to have the link to this in the notes for the YouTube video, and for wherever I share a copy of this video, I'll share a link to this folder. It's got three things in it. It's got the strategy coach project details. It's got the strategy coach prompt. And then it's also got a BP strategy document, which I'll come on to a little bit later. So first off, the strategy coach project details. So what I've got in here is a project name, your company name, whatever your company name is, strategy coach. A project description. This is a coach for executives to discuss strategy and think through ideas with. And then some custom instructions. You're an executive coach focused on corporate strategy. Your goal is to follow the instructions provided in your project knowledge. And let me just move that across there. You should guide me through a coaching discussion, guiding me to think through the challenges and come up with solutions myself rather than providing your own recommendations. So those are three items there. When you get to creating your project, you can literally copy this stuff across. So I will copy this across here. And I'll say it's the RevOps Charlie Strategy Coach. I will take the project description, a coach, and so on. And I'm going to create this project. And now you'll see set custom instructions on the right here. So here is where I'm going to copy in our custom instructions. Okay, super simple. As you go on to creating your own projects in future, you can see how easy this is just to instruct the tool. So we've got the RevOps Charlie Strategy Coach, a coach for executives to discuss strategy and think through ideas with. And then here we have our custom instructions. The next thing we're going to do is to add in some project knowledge. So project knowledge is the context that you want your tool to have as you're engaging with it. Now, there's a couple of different ways of looking at this. One is to upload facts and information that you want this tool to be aware of. So in this example, we're going to upload some kind of strategy document. Now, you might have, give you some examples here. You might have a company strategy for 2025. You might have a forecast document that is written through what the plan is. You might have a business plan for a new business unit or for rolling out in a new country or launching a new product. You might have a policy, I don't know, an HR policy or a social media policy or something like that that you want to discuss or debate. The key thing here is that it's a document that you know and understand, and that you could have a valuable coaching conversation around. What we want to show here is that you can give these tools the ability to discuss and engage about your context, not just some generic understanding of the world at large. So I'd encourage you to figure out what is that one document or a couple of documents that you want to add in. Again, bear in mind the terms and conditions that I showed you earlier. This is not going into the training body of knowledge of Claude. It is purely within the context of this discussion that you're going to have. If you don't have any kind of strategy document or you're not comfortable using that, then I've provided a BP investor deck, which is just here. And this is just from their investor relations website. It's their Q4 2023 investor handout. And it just provides a description of the strategy of the business, what their priorities are, what some of their key metrics are. And it's a good example if you're not comfortable providing one yourself. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and the second thing that I have shared in that folder is a prompt. Now let me go to that prompt. Now this prompt is quite detailed and it guides Claude through how we want it to interact with us. So I've written this so that you don't need to write it. And we're going to just upload that in a moment. But what it's going to provide is instructions about how this AI-powered strategy coach is going to work. It's going to guide through the structure of that coaching session and some of the questions and some of the guidelines for how we want it to interact with you. Again, I've provided this so that you don't need to worry about it, but you can see how simple it is to instruct a tool like Claude in what you want it to do. No code. This is about talking to someone just as if you had onboarded a coach or an executive assistant and you're explaining to them, this is how I want you to interact with me. So first thing I'm going to do is just copy all of this text. And I am going to add content. Now I can do two things. I can upload from the device or I can add text content. So here I'm going to add text content and I'm going to say coaching session guidelines. And then I'm going to paste that in. That goes straight into Claude's knowledge. And then the next thing I'm going to do is upload from the device and I'm going to put in BP investor strategy. And then I'm going to upload that deck. And that is just going into Claude's knowledge as well. So you can see here, we've got a investor handout and we've got the coaching guidelines. We can also note up here that we've so far used 10% of the knowledge size for this project. So if you do have a very large document, 500-page investor overview, then that may be too big. So just consider that when you are uploading your documentation. So there we have it. We are now set and ready to go. We've set up our project. We've added in some knowledge and we've created the guidelines that we want Claude to follow along. So now we can say, hi, please can you guide me through a strategy coaching session? And so now what Claude is doing is using the context of the information that we've provided and is using that to follow along. Now, I won't go through the entire coaching session here, But what I hope you'll find is that having followed those step-by-step instructions, having uploaded some of your specific context, you'll now find that you are in a very specific and personalized coaching session that relates to your scenario and your world. So well done. Enjoy playing around with Claude. Having created this one project, you'll now be very well capable of creating other projects for other specific use cases, and we'll touch on more of those as we go through the course.